Oh, hey, how are y'all doing? Well, as we're gearing up for this new season this year, the weather's starting to turn spring-like weather, and so we're decided to do a couple little bit of upgrades this year. One of the upgrades that we're looking at doing is we're tired of cranking. So we're going to be, today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to walk through on installing a battery-powered winch that goes on the front of the tongue of the camper. So our days of cranking are over. But hope you enjoy this, and if you find this informative, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and give us thumbs up. So, well, here we go. We will go off and start this upgrade. All right, let's see what we got here. I ended up getting this. It's a power winch. I ended up getting it off of Amazon. They have many different kinds, different brands or anything out there. This one I looked and I saw it had pretty good reviews, so it had some of the best reviews. I'll include the link in the description down below, so if you guys are interested in this particular one. But let's see what we got here. Looks like pretty straightforward. So this is a Wise, it's a 3,500 pound capacity electric A-frame jack. So it does do 3,500 pounds, and this is what we're going to install this bad boy today. So never really done this before, so hopefully it shouldn't be too difficult, but we'll see. Hopefully we don't get into too much issues. Well, it doesn't have any downside is to it. It doesn't have any instructions. Just has, I don't know, kind of a description of it that it talks about it, but that's about it. So there really isn't any instructions. So hopefully we can just kind of figure it out as we go. We unbox this thing. No, there isn't any instructions. Some of the things that you may need that I've kind of looked at of seeing, because you're going to have some exposed wires. When you get done, it's going to connect up to the battery. So a couple things that you may need to be useful that I would think you need to get some kind of wire conduit. It's the black split connector. You need something to kind of protect the wires from the elements, or so they don't rub together. Some people may use electrical tape or something, or if you got an existing wiring harness that you could probably do. But I went and picked this up. You can pick this up at Amazon or anywhere. It's just regular, like 1/2 inch wire protector. I think it's works really good as far as if you're doing any kind of wiring or anything around your camper. You want to make sure that you have your wires protected. Something else I did pick up is you might want to pick up some ring terminals, because since this is going to be connecting directly to the battery, it doesn't look like that it doesn't have any way to connect it. So I ended up picking up some ring terminals. These will crimp on the end. Once it's all done and final, this will actually go onto the battery lug connections. So, another thing that you may want to have is maybe some WD-40 or some, because the screws and everything that's on the front are a little bit probably rusted or been on there for a while. Since we're changing out our original crank on our camper, I'd imagine they're going to be a little bit tight, so we're going to end up pre-spraying those screws or whatnot. So, but all right, well, let's go ahead and get started. One of the first things probably do, it looks like our bolts. There's 3 bolts that are right here on the front, and these are the 3 that it looks like that we're going to be changing. So I'm going to go ahead and spray a little bit of kind of WD-40 or this bolt thing, and I'll spray a little bit underneath. This may or may not need it, but at least it'll kind of help loosen it up, especially when I go to tighten and everything to do the bolts. One of the first steps, which I would say to do, you want to make sure that you have all the pads, that you have the camper at some level, so it's not just being supported. So you need to make sure that you do at least support. Go ahead and crank down all your leveling pads and make sure that your camper is supported with that instead of with the front. But probably go ahead and let's lower it down on our pads, which I've already kind of leveled the camper. My bolts look to be looks like a 14 millimeters what I have, but yours may be different. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Looking at this looks to be, as we got to pull this up, so probably the first step we need to do is remove our pin for our foot pad. That way, as when we take the bolts up, it should just spill the pop and slide right up. So. I guess this looks a lot easier than really what it is. I guess that's why there wasn't too many directions. I guess they figured it shouldn't be too difficult for anyone to figure out. So I like to do these videos that we do. I like to do it for informational purposes, because a lot of time there's not a lot of YouTube videos or a lot on how to do anything. So I figured, you know, just to kind of make it easier for other people that are interested in doing this and upgrades for their own camper, that they can refer back to this. If you guys remember last year, one upgrade we did was we actually upgraded and put a tornado, the clean out drain in the tornado. A lot of people have commented that have asked us about that, and we really do enjoy it. If you look in, I'll put the description and everything above, that'll link that video, but if you guys are interested in adding that, highly recommend that upgrade. So slide this bad boy out. Make sure when you purchase a power lift that you do get one that actually is rated for your camper. Ours, since ours is fairly light on our tongue weight isn't very much. The 3,500 pound winch is more than enough. But please make sure that you double check and check that your tongue weight, whatever your tongue weight of your camper, to make sure that it can actually support it. Yeah, some of you have bigger travel trailers or anything, pull behinds. You may need to have a bigger power motor wrench. So. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. Slide off our pad. Make sure our wires are long enough. It's gonna be real close. Yeah, it's gonna be real tight. Barely enough wire, so hopefully it'll reach. And we'll put our bolts back in. A little bit easier than I thought. I guess that's why there really isn't any directions. They have little slots, since this has got little slots that's on there, which is really good, because that actually will make it easier, because this can be used on multiple different travel trailers. They do allow a little bit of a play depending on what type of travel trailer you have. We'll feed our wire in the tubing. This tubing's got a split. It's kind of splits down the middle, so it makes it easier, or supposedly makes it easier to put it in. I don't know if there's any real trick. Anybody's got a easier idea or suggestion on how to get this in here easier? I'm hoping for a suggestion. Like I stated before, I would always put your wires, anytime you got any exposed wires or anything, it's a good idea to protect them. This stuff is very inexpensive. It's about $7 at AutoZone or any automotive store. but it'll protect those wires, especially from the elements. It'll also protect it, especially driving down the road. And the last thing you want to do is for something like this to be shorted out. Put the little ring connector. You can get these things work really well because they just crimp right on. This will just kind of help it hold it together to keep the wires from popping out. You probably can get away with not doing it, but it's just kind of a second layer of protection. Okay, so the negative, black goes on negative, and red goes on positive. You always want to do negative anytime you deal with anything. You always want to put your ground wire on first. A little FYI. So that way if there is any loose charge or spark or anything else, it will go to it'll go to ground first instead of you being the ground. Even though a 12-volt battery ain't. Just always a good habit.
Okay?
I'm fine.
Why?
That's because the other wires are on here. You heard a spark. That is the other spark that made you jump. It looks like the buttons here, if you want to, they're kind of backwards on the buttons. So like the up, if you're going to raise the tongue up, you push it on up. If you're going to raise the tongue down, you have it down. So you would think it would be the opposite, like if you're going to raise it up, which would lower it down. So we're going to raise the tongue up. It's really quiet. One thing good about this, which I like, is it actually has a light. On the front. So like if you were at nighttime or anything, you can just turn the light on and it'll actually shine the light kind of down in this area. Oh, so that way you can actually, if you're at nighttime trying to do it, you can unhook your ball and everything at night. So if the one thing that would be a problem, if that was left on in an accident, I could see it probably running your battery dead or something. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I guess I like the feature of having a light, but that's something that can very easily be bumped or anything else, so I would definitely check to make sure of this. Some people ask, well, I don't want to get a power winch, because what happens if power goes out? Well, they thought of that too, just in case you get down there and you did leave it. Looks like there's a little rubber cover, I think, here. Little rubber cap that's right on the front, and if you ever want to, I guess if you miss the cranking, you can always crank it manually.
Interesting. Is it hard?
It is actually easier
than the other one?
Yeah. I don't know, let's crank it up. No, it's just as hard. Just as hard going out. So if you ever run where you don't have any power, they at least give you the option to where you can manually crank it up. So we'll see how this comes out. I'm going to use that this season. We'll see how this, if it does work out and it does hold out, I'll probably give a better review on Amazon or anything. So, but that's pretty much it. Looks like that's it pretty much for the install. We also appreciate all the comments that we could do. So, but once again, we appreciate everybody watching this for the installs. I hope this was educational and this worked together. So, all right.